Good morning, everyone.
What up? Happy Sunday,
It's
guys.
happy Sunday. It's March 14th, 2021. How are you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
That
Doing
was a question.
well.
That was a question for
Coffee in hand.
that was a question for our viewers,
Oh crap.
uh, Andrew and Jay. Um, we have
We
a we're talking to a third party as it's YouTube, so like you record yourself, and then if people watch you later, so like you can ask them like retrospectively, you can ask them questions, and then they could answer while they're at home watching it. Maybe they're
gotcha.
washing the dishes or doing their chores, which is sometimes how I often add to people's YouTube's
There we go.
hours watched. We have a comment coming in, and it's from our first viewer, which is kind of a mind f. It's Andrew; he's doing great, and Elizabeth saying, "LOL, doing well, guys." With
Hi
Hi,
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Lord
Hello,
Lizzie.
Elizabeth. Thanks for tuning in. You're our biggest fan. We'll follow you till the end. Anyways, thanks for tuning in to our first Sunday roast episode. In the future, these episodes will consist of us hopping on before NFL games and chit chat and maybe setting a couple daily fantasy lineups with Jay and Andrew.
Heck yeah.
Hopefully not losing all our money, but that's usually how it goes. So
We'll be
Yeah,
going, it'll be some 2v2s that I'll always be picking the wrong side of. So if you come on here in the
absolutely.
mornings and I'm struggling in a 2v2 and I have my core set, play the core. And then just whatever 2v2 I pick, pivot right onto the other one. You'll make yourself a ton of money.
it's usually what I do when I make out with money and he doesn't. So trust that
Yeah,
process, guys.
makes total sense in the world. Okay, what we're gonna ask you guys to do right now is tell us what coffee you're drinking. So
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
I only strictly drink beautifully handmade coffee for my wife. So she was with the daylight savings time. I didn't ask her to wake up early to hang out with us. So I made my own coffee, but I didn't really make my own coffee. I just if you go to like these Asian stores or Vietnamese uh, grocery stores, they have these little packets of coffee that they're like really strong. They come with cream and sugar inside the little mix too, so you just open it up, add hot water. I went like truly like it's like instant coffee, but it's like good instant coffee. And I'm drinking it out of my Epcot 35-year anniversary mug
Let's go.
that I got when I was
Clutch.
in Walt Disney World a few years ago.
Let's go.
On sale because Disneyland and Walt Disney World and just Disney sells merchandise after it goes out of style, and then they put it on clearance. So
Yeah.
thank you for the good price on a. This is like
It's a good looking mug to put on clearance.
like 30 ounces in here. I'm not even kidding. Like
Jesus.
so.
Drink your water out of that thing.
So are you guys also drinking some Joe this morning too, guys?
Indeed, indeed. Got my Stormtrooper mug, courtesy of the sister,
Nice.
Sandra.
Sassy.
Shout out to you.
Little shout out.
Think we got some Starbucks roast that we got probably got from Costco.
The espresso blend.
Yeah, it's good,
Uh-huh.
pretty good stuff. Nothing special. Nothing like we get from Elizabeth, because Elizabeth makes the outstanding coffee. Just
Yeah.
iced coffees. I mean, last time I had a s'mores iced latte at you guys' pad that was
That
just
is-
like unbelievable. So
that is true, and it was church. Let me tell you. I recently rewatched all of the Breaking Bad episodes. These two haven't watched it yet, but
We haven't.
Aaron Paul, who's a fantastic actor, one of the things he says, or him and his buddies say church when they're like agreeing with something. That's like kind of like the new like no shot, right? But yeah, just wanted to say that because people are probably thinking, why is this old man saying church? Okay,
We go to church.
we also have another comment coming in. That cast member discount, though.
Hey.
Who's a cast member? I don't know.
Clutch-
Am I a cast member?
Clutch
Is
Mundo.
he a cast member? Yeah. What? Oh, we also have another comment coming in. Wow, thanks, Elizabeth. Whenever y'all have a Sunday roast at my house, you'll get the Lizzie coffee hookup. That is true. She will hook it up. Elizabeth is
gift
my
that
wife.
keeps on giving, man.
If that's not clear, Elizabeth is my wife. So just to not be confusing here, because obviously you might not know all of the intricacies of our relationship here. So yeah, did I might have blacked out there for a sec, but Jay, did you share your mug yet?
Oh no, this is a little ink and paint. The like characters
Nice.
are blue until you put the hot coffee, and then they change to colored.
So
So
we're
that
all
was
pretty
pretty
much
cool.
drinking out of Disney mugs,
Yeah.
if that means anything to
Yeah.
to you guys watching.
I'm wearing a Nike hat too, but it has the Disney logo on the backside. You guys can't see it, but I mean, it's a Disney all around, man. Getting
Well-
super psyched, yeah.
Well, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to comment and let us know you're here watching us. We're just gonna be hanging out with you guys, talking a little bit of sports, maybe a little bit of Disney.
We got a trip coming.
Let us know if you're drinking coffee, what you're drinking. If you're not drinking coffee, then this is not the. No, I'm just kidding. You can tell us if you're drinking water. That's fine. Water is an acceptable beverage in the morning.
Gotta stay hydrated.
You gotta stay hydrated.
Yeah.
So today, I think we're gonna chit chat with you guys about the NBA. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, which we'll kind of just go with the flow there, and then we're gonna maybe talk about a fun topic, who we think the greatest wide receiver of all time is. So that should be fun. And like I said,
Happy birthday, Stephen Curry.
oh yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Curry. And then as always, like and subscribe. Do the right thing all the time. Okay, so yeah. Did you guys catch any? Were you guys watching some sports last night? Did you guys catch some NBA action?
Saw Luca and Porzingis balling out against Denver.
Yes, we did.
Porzingis. I mean, when he's healthy, that kid, I mean, he's pretty much good for.
Jay called it. He's been advocating for Kristaps to be back on this Mavericks roster, and that they're gonna blossom once he gets there. And Johnny, what you got?
Dallas just had a tough schedule the first half of the season. It was kind of crazy. They were playing a ton of away games, and they had a ton of injuries. So I just think Kristaps is underrated for what he brings. He's 7'3" and can shoot, and he's a problem on the block, and he boards and he blocks. He does a lot of the things that the Dallas Mavericks need. So I mean, I think losing Seth Curry last year was kind of a big deal. But I thought Dallas was going to be a problem in the playoffs, and it's kind of coming to a head right now with the way that they're playing. We can get into it a little bit when we look at the standings a little more. I have a couple little tidbits for the people at home, but yeah, definitely good to see Kristaps after that bad injury a few years ago. He's been injury ridden his whole career. I thought when he got out of the Knicks, he'd be saved, going to Dallas. But
Right.
yeah.
Joel Embiid out for at least 2 weeks. Do the 76ers beat the Spurs at home tonight?
Probably. Let me go to my little 76ers stuff. They have the second best record at home this year, 16-3. See, I thought the Spurs were going to be a team because they were in the middle of the standings there for a little bit that can hold now with LaMarcus Aldridge looking to be shipped. It makes it a little, it hits them a little bit. I still think they'll be all right without him. They have a lot of young talent over there, but
So here's
The most-
here. Oh, sorry, go Drew.
Oh, I was gonna say the most fun name to pronounce in the NBA, Jakob Pertl. It's playing center for him.
So this might be perfect. Well, I don't know, perfect timing, but the Philadelphia 76ers play the next 4 at home. They play San Antonio, then the Knicks, Milwaukee, and Sacramento. So a couple pretty tough games in there. And then they go on so this is probably where we might see a little bit of resistance to not having Embiid, but they go on the road to the Knicks, Warriors, Lakers, Clippers, Nuggets, and Cleveland. So all 6 away games in a row over about a 9-day span. So if we kind of calculate that out, we can kind of see Embiid back maybe at the end of that road trip. Maybe he'll come back 2 weeks from now is about the Denver game. So yeah, I mean, there's
that
some
injury
tough.
injury looked rough, man. The hyperextension of the knee. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
Yeah, you always hate to see those awkward looking, your leg goes backwards kind of plays. Yeah, that did not look fun at all. Not that
Your
any
boy,
injury
your boy
looks
Ben
fun.
Simmons, Johnny, will be carrying the load with some help from Tobias Harris and um, like you, the former Dallas Maverick, as you mentioned, Seth Curry, be getting some more run.
So
Might be some DFS plays in there for you.
yeah, Dwight Howard, Tobias Harris, Mike Scott. I'm looking at their depth chart.
Oh dear
Tony
lord.
Tony Bradley. So I don't know. These guys are like like they're back their bench players. And
I
then
remember last time. Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, and Ben
Last time.
Simmons is probable today. Sorry, because of COVID protocols. Just FYI. But sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Last time Embiid and them were out, that rookie Tyrese Maxey scored 41 points in the game that he got to start. He played like 40 minutes because he had to, but he scored like 40 points. It was crazy. So look out for Tyrese Maxey, maybe.
For sure. Just to go back to the point of me asking Jay who I thought was going to win today, the 76ers are 4.5 favorites at home. So, the closest game we got on the slate today looks to be Raptors at Bulls, under 500 teams. Doesn't really seem like a super interesting game to catch. I guess our next closest would be our aforementioned game, and then there's I guess Cavs at Hawks, but that's another matchup of two under 500 teams. Probably the game to watch today is Jazz at Warriors. Jazz are 28-9, facing off against birthday boy Chef Curry, but the Jazz, even though they're away, are favored by 7 points. So it's kind of a pretty steep.
That's kind of surprising. I mean, maybe it's not as surprising as I think, but I mean,
first in the West versus ninth in the West. I mean, it's.
I guess just because they're the away team. I guess I got a little more shocked than I should have been. But
to give some stats behind maybe why the Warriors this year are 9-11 in conference matchups. So yeah, that might be it.
Utah's also first in the league in point differential, almost 9 points per game. So they're winning by almost 9 points every time they win.
Mm-hmm. The Warriors are 9-11 this year. The Jazz are 13-5. So the Jazz have been playing better conference, better within the conference. But this is the second time they meet. The Jazz beat them the first time too by like 20-something points. Sorry.
And the Warriors have lost. No, they've lost 4 in a row. 4-6 over their last 10.
Got spanked by the Clippers a couple days ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, there's some decent NBA action at least today. There's like 9 games at least. So even if it's not all the records are not all too great, you do have a lot of games to catch. But yeah, today is also Selection Sunday for college basketball, so that's kind of a fun deal in the world of sports. I know the three of us have not necessarily been like the biggest college basketball followers this year. I usually will just pay attention to a couple of teams on a normal year schedule, but yeah, it's just been kind of busy lately. No big deal. Trying to start a YouTube channel with my best friends and stuff.
Yes, sir.
Not a big deal at all.
The way college season is gone. I think Andrew is probably going to say that. With so many teams being affected by the COVID protocols and so many teams having to totally cancel their season. I know there was a few teams who got kicked out of their tournaments this weekend. So
yeah,
it's a rough go.
Speaking of teams getting kind of COVID affecting the season, 9 minutes ago, CNN just announced that all Duke University undergrad students have been ordered to stay, have been given a stay in their dorm order, basically, because they're seeing a rise in COVID-19 cases across the entire campus. So, it's been a weird year for college basketball.
Yeah, my family and I yesterday went to Corona Del Mar to socially distance to watch the sunset.
Nice.
And there's this place called Lookout something. I don't know. If my wife can comment in the chats and let me know what it's called again. Lookout Point, I think, is what it was called. But there was like 50 people standing next to each other. I was like, I'm good. Let's just go stand over there where there's no one. So we just kind of stood. We kind of just stood and like we didn't stand at the like actual lookout point. We stood like maybe like 50 yards away. But we had a beautiful view. It was nice to get the tranquility of the ocean. I haven't seen the ocean in a good little while. I forgot why I was even starting this point.
Just nice to get out and be out and about and go to the beach and stuff.
You were saying COVID protocols. That's why I remember. Not a lot of people wear their mask at the beach, but whatever. I mean, COVID doesn't exist at the coastline, right?
I guess not. Yeah, that's usually the exception.
Depends on who you ask.
So yes, boss. Lookout point. Eyes rolling and laughing emoji. Thanks, son. Real nice comment there. Just kidding. Yeah. So, but yeah. Everybody stay safe out there. Thankfully, a lot of people are getting their vaccinations. The driving numbers down. Still means we still have to, do our best to ourselves to help the spread. Crazy times. So yeah, today's Selection Sunday. And then on Thursday, they'll have the first 4 teams, it's quote unquote, to play in to make it to the tournament. And then the first round starts next Friday. All the games this year will be played in Indiana. So kind of a COVID quote unquote like bubble-ish type area. They're going to be playing a couple different arenas. And then I think they end the tournament in Lucas Oil Stadium. So,
that'll be cool.
That'll be on the end of March, first week of April. So, college basketball, March Madness is always fun. So I'm sure it'll be a good tournament. Hopefully, some Cinderella team wins this year. I always like to root for the underdog.
100%. That's what makes college basketball, right? I mean, like underdogs, like Mercer upsetting Duke, or like back when Butler was the underdog, getting all the way to the title game and almost winning with that Gordon Hayward half quarter.
Yeah,
See, I'm of the opposite. I don't know if it's
I was gonna say I know
this. Yeah, like it's all great. You win a game or two, but in the Final Four and the Elite Eight, I want to see the Dukes. I want to see the Blue Bloods, Kentucky,
yeah, Kansas, Michigan.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yup.
Well, I remember, maybe like 6 years ago, I was like, I'm just gonna pick all the favorites, and then that year, I believe like all top 4 teams went to the Final Four, and I was like, yeah. Finally, like I didn't do any work. I just picked the favorite each time.
Is everyone gonna fill out a bracket? Like ESPN does that. I remember there was a guy who offered like $1 million, or maybe it was more than that for somebody who fills out.
Doesn't Warren Buffett each year offer like $1 million or something like that?
Yeah. Anybody who gets it 100% correct. Yeah.
Just go get struck. Give it a shot. Just go get struck by lightning or something. You have a better chance of that. I mean,
get a lotto ticket.
Yeah, hey, the California is like 163 million or something right now. So or maybe that's the Super Lotto Plus one or whatever. Okay, well, we can get into some sports. Like we have some graphics to share. Let's pull up. Well, okay, hold on. We're gonna got a little ahead of ourselves there. So here's some NBA standings to look at. Obviously, we kind of these were made last night by Andrew. So the Utah Jazz are tops of the Western Conference still. They ended the All-Star break as the number 1 seed. There's only been a couple of games since, so obviously they haven't had a chance to give up that top seed yet. Phoenix Suns, I mean, they're still in this. The Los Angeles Lakers at number 3, the Clippers at number 4. Yeah, those LA teams, man. The Trailblazers at 5th with a 22-15 record. I mean, if you're looking at all these records, all pretty decent. The West is always better than the East. I mean, whatever it is. And even LeBron shifting to the West, kind of we're still seeing the same, I mean, I guess you can look at it kind of a couple of ways. If maybe the top 8 teams in the West are always really good, maybe the bottom 8 teams are always really bad, and then that's how the records kind of play out. But yeah, Denver Nuggets 22-16 at 6, the Spurs 19-15. Dallas holding on to the technically last spot at 20-17, and right now by default, because there's the COVID playoff scenario where they're going to start the tournament. The Warriors at 500 and the Memphis Grizzlies at 500 will be making the tournament as it were to stand today. So I mean, we're looking at what is that? Like a 4 or 5 game gap between the Grizzlies and the Pelicans. Do the Pelicans, Thunder, Sacramento Kings have a chance? The Rockets and Timberwolves are out for sure, but
100, yeah, get out of here. Minnesota.
Is there even any competition with Memphis there? Do we see anything happening?
So I did just want to go over what the new playoff format looks like for those who don't know or haven't been able to do, the proper research to understand yet. So the way that it's going to go this year is there's going to be a 7-8 game and a 9-10 game. And the 7th seed from each conference is going to play the 8th seed, and the 7th seed will host. Whoever wins that game becomes the 7th seed. So if you're the 8th seed and you win that first game, you become the 7th seed. So whoever wins that 7-8 game gets the 7th seed. Then there's a 9-10 game, which right now would be the Warriors versus the Grizzlies. Whoever wins that game plays the loser of the 7-8 game. And whoever wins the game between those two teams gets the 8th seed. So basically it'll be 7 versus 8. Winner of that game gets the 7. Then 9 versus 10. Winner of that plays for the 8th seed versus whoever lost the 7 and 8 game.
So if we're looking at it as it stands right now, Spurs, Mavs at Spurs. If the Spurs win, because let's say they win because they're the 7th seed right now, that means Dallas would have to face the winner of the Warriors and Grizzlies. Correct?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so whoever loses the 7-8 game has a double chance to make it into the playoffs, which is kind of interesting. I mean, for what it's worth, I know we're opening it up to having potential 10 teams getting in here, but yeah, I mean, it would be probably very dramatic to see Memphis or the Warriors making it, but not too far-fetched with that scenario. I mean, anybody can lose on any given day.
I think these one-game playoffs are interesting. I mean, not something I would adopt long-term because basketball is a sport that, volume matters. I think the better team shows itself more of a head in basketball when you play more games as opposed to something like, football has a lot of variability as well, but if you have better players for the most part, the longer the series go, the better your chance to win. Obviously, because it gives you more opportunities to show that you're the better team, right? So I wouldn't want to be one of those teams that's in that playoff game, play-in. But if you're a team on the fringe, like if you're the Grizzlies right now and that's your only shot, I'll take one game versus the Warriors and hope that, I can hit a couple more threes and, make an impact in one game and win it. So.
All right, I'm going to bump my buddies off the screen for a second because it's the Sunday roast, so we roast people, okay? So I'm going to roast the first person on Sunday roast. He doesn't know it's coming. This is off the script. I'm going to roast Andrew, my boy right here, because he shortened a word in our graphic. So if you look down and you read COVID, he missed out the I. There is an I in COVID, Andrew. There's no me, but there is an I. You shortened the season. You shortened COVID. Come on, buddy. I wish you could have shortened COVID. Yeah, that's my roast. What? Like, thanks for wearing a mask when you go out in public, but could you just have gotten rid of this virus a little earlier, buddy? Like, this coronavirus is just nuts, man. What are you doing, huh? Roast.
We took out the I because the I stands for infections, and we're getting rid of the infections. That's what we're doing. So I made it
okay.
up.
Ashan Heke.
Okay, all right, all right.
I made it up. I'm sorry.
Do you feel a little hot and bothered there, folks? Do you feel
Oh,
the same way
man.
I feel?
I have failed you, AJA Nation. I am so sorry.
Okay, so this is the way that I look at it. I give everybody a second chance, so I will give you a second chance, Andrew. Just please don't make any more grammatical or spelling errors in our graphics because I will lose my mind. I'm a journalism major, man. Like this is like
Trust
stuff
me.
that like I used to get yelled at in the newsroom. Like, because I was the sports editor and managing editor for my papers, and if I made a mistake, then here comes the red pen, and my newspaper advisor would he would give it to us. He'd be like this is pathetic. Why would you misspelled a word and we printed like 10,000 of these newspapers? Like, good job, guys, and we were like, thanks.
It's a good thing I only talk, bro, because if I had to write anything, y'all would be doing spelling checks for the next like freaking 3 weeks. Because
Elizabeth said, "Boom, roasted."
Checking every graphic I've made now because I feel.
Don't let this guy
bad.
off easy. Roast him too.
Did I mess up the MVP? Don't bring up the MVP one. Let me proofread it first.
So
I think we're okay on that one.
It's okay. We're just having a good time here. I just wanted to actually spirit our this is going to be an ongoing live stream for us. So I just wanted to put it out there. The inaugural roast. If you were here and you enjoyed it. So hopefully you guys were able to catch us live.
Can we roast an NBA team? Because is anybody else disappointed in the Pelicans? Like, is it kind of like I'm kind of like I feel like they're kind of underachieving a bit. I mean,
I don't know. What was their outlook earlier this season like to begin the season?
I thought they were going to be a playoff team, to be honest.
Yeah, so did I. Yeah, I thought they'd be a playoff team. Again, the combination with Eric Bledsoe and Lonzo Ball hasn't really been as easy of a fit as they thought. I mean, Eric Bledsoe is like a traditional point guard. The reason why they were kind of off of him in Milwaukee is because, Giannis handles the ball so much. Chris Middleton handles the ball so much. He was required to shoot a lot of threes, and he was a good three-point shooter, but not what they were looking for, especially not like Drew Holiday, the guy who they traded over there. Zion is having a great season. I mean, coming into his second year now, he had a full offseason. He looks in better shape. He's playing more minutes as the season's gone along. That's continued to progress. He made the All-Star team, obviously. And with Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball has been shooting the three ball really well this year. I kind of mentioned it when they signed him. Andrew, remember, if I re-jog his memory a little bit, the Steven Adams signing was a little off to me. He just is not a guy that runs the floor super well. I mean, he does what he can, but I mean, at the end of the day, he looks like Aquaman out there. He's just ginormous. He's like 7 foot tall Aquaman, and he gets rebounds and stuff. But if I'm looking at it from the Pelicans perspective, I like the fact that Lonzo's out there. I like the fact that BI's out there. Zion, it opens up the paint for Zion to go and attack. His big thing is attacking against anybody. He can attack against bigs, and he's successful at it by getting his body into him. So it's a little interesting to see the Steven Adams thing. I think that plays a role. The first year, Stan Van Gundy, that's a role too. So,
well, besides injured and older JJ Redick, I mean, it's a pretty young team. I mean, Steven Adams is 27, Lonzo's 23. I mean, Eric Bledsoe's 31. Okay, whatever. But Brandon Ingram is still like 23. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of ex-Lakers on there. Zion is obviously an infant in the league. But yeah, I mean, Lonzo, Bledsoe, Ingram, Zion, Steven Adams. I mean, that's a competitive lineup if you're going to throw anybody out there. But yeah, I mean,
I'll cut them some slack a little bit. They had a couple before the All-Star break. They had a run of primetime games where they played Boston, they played Milwaukee. They had just an onslaught of Eastern Conference teams. They even played. Did I say Milwaukee already?
You did, yeah.
And they played Philly. And I mean, I guess maybe their strength of schedule has played like a role so far. But 6 games under 500 is definitely not where I expected them to be.
I don't love Stan Van Gundy, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, that their coach. Yeah, I mean, just to Well, does it get any easier? So you're talking about schedule, right? So they play the Clippers tonight at home.
Not right away, yeah.
Right. And then they play Portland back-to-back in Portland.
Oh, dear Lord. This schedule is brutal. Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness.
Then they play at Denver. Then they play at home versus the Lakers, at home versus the Nuggets, at home versus the Mavs. All of these are really competitive games against, MVP candidates. Literally, Dame, Jokic, LeBron, and then so a little crazy here. And then they play Luka. They play versus Dallas, and then they play at Boston. Their next easiest game is versus Orlando on April 1st. I mean, that's pretty much what it comes down to. So, yeah, unless they start playing better, they've won. What is this? 3 out of their last 10. It looks like. So, I mean, I don't know. Is this Zion like taking the next level to like make them better? Lonzo Ball's kind of been a little bit of a, underwhelming. I mean, I guess when you look at him versus his younger brother LaMelo, but
he's improved his 3-point shooting dramatically. Thankfully,
Yeah.
he's actually made more threes this season than if I'm correct, he's made more threes than LeBron. He's made more threes than
Luka.
Trae Young, more threes than Luka. Yeah. So
And he's shooting a higher percentage in all of them too.
Yeah.
he leads the team in steals and assists, 5.2 assists a game and 1.3 steals a game. Zion is their leading points scorer, and Steven Adams, Aquaman, is leading in rebounds. But yeah, I mean, Lonzo is averaging 14 points, 14.1, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal. So, I mean, out of your starting point guard, I would like a few more assists in that stat line.
Yeah.
But I mean, what do you do?
I think running the backcourt with Eric Bledsoe, like Johnny said, it's kind of like they're in limbo sometimes. Like, who's gonna run it? Like, who's gonna bring the ball up? Who's gonna be the point man? That's just Bledsoe's come off the bench in a couple times this season.
Yeah. Eric Bledsoe is not like trailing the league and having like a fantastic season. So I mean, it might just be that an amalgamation of just not putting it together as much as they could have, and not being pushed hard enough by your coach. I'm not too sure, but yeah, it looks like they're gonna miss the playoffs, and I mean
those next 8 games against like the guys you said, the Clippers, the Lakers, the Mavs, and then finishing off at Boston. I could see them going probably 1-7, 0-8. I mean, that is a rough schedule.
Yeah, they're gonna face their maker if they don't. Best case scenario, they can maybe win like 2 out of those games, and that's because they're playing like Portland 2 nights in a row, or back-to-back games over 3 days. Maybe like you get their number one of those days.
Yeah. Speaking of questionable guard play, I want to touch on the team at the very top of the standings, who has probably the best guard play in the league, I'd say, so far this year. When you look at 3 deep, Utah Jazz with Mike Conley, with Donovan Mitchell, with Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench, who's probably the 6th man. They're making the most 3-pointers in the league right now with 17. They're also attempting the most with 43, but that's something different that Quinn Snyder's kind of adopted this year. Me and Andrew talk about it all the time with the new NBA. The volume is really starting to show its ugly head in terms of everything, right? Not just in terms of shots, but in terms of volume of possessions and in terms of volume of pace. Everything is going up incrementally, which is allowing 3-pointers to really open the game up in a way that some people are really happy with and some people are very much not happy with. Besides shooting the most and making the most 3-pointers, they shoot the 3rd highest percent at like 40% on the season. Now, the big question for Utah is always going to be their playoff success, right? The last 2 years, they've been bounced in the first round. The 2 years prior, they actually made it to the semis, and they were bounced then. So just wanted to bring that up. I think they're a team that's really interesting, sitting at the top of the standings. But I don't think there's really anybody once you start to put them up against. I mean, even if you put them up against Phoenix in a 7-game series, I'll probably pick Phoenix. Lakers, I'm picking the Lakers. Clippers, I'm picking the Clippers. The Blazers, even the Nuggets, I might pick the Nuggets to beat them. Like genuinely, even sitting at the 8 at the 6 seed. So.
So we talked about this yesterday for a second too. Sorry to kind of.
Is this Is this Papa Johnny?
It is, yeah.
Well,
make more coffee next time, then.
You buy big cups. You're gonna get your coffee stolen. Pops. Sorry,
we talked about it. We talked about it yesterday. Johnny and I did. Jamal. People were talking, kind of mess about Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's, not having. I can't even give that disclaimer. Like, he's having a good season. He's averaging 22 points, like five rebounds, 5 assists. He's having a good season, and people are kind of bashing him a little bit on from what I'm seeing on Twitter. And once they kind of find their groove in Denver, and Michael Porter really finds his groove. I mean, that big three of Porter Jr., Jokic, and Jamal Murray is really good. So I could definitely see that. And Utah, just like Johnny said, it's a lot of volume, a lot of shooting. I just don't see it. I'm not a fan of Rudy Gobert. If you guys have seen other shows, I roasted him because of his performance during the All-Star game, because he's rather boring. Sorry, Rudy. I mean, congrats on making the All-Star team, but you're a little boring. But Jamal Murray's balling. So Denver's one of those teams. I would definitely agree with that.
So Utah Jazz is scheduled to end the month of March. They play 5 in a row away. So that starts tonight at Golden State. Tuesday they play Boston. Thursday they play the Wizards. You're a wizard, Washington. Friday, the day after, they play the Raptors. And then they end their 5-game road trip against the Bulls. So just real quick out of that 5-game, I mean, they can go 4-1 there, right? I mean, probably pretty easily.
Yeah.
4-1, if not 3-2. And then to end the season, their last 5 games, to end the month of March, they play 4 out of 5 at home. So they play Brooklyn at home, Memphis on back-to-back nights at home, and then they play the Cleveland Cavaliers at home, and then on the 31st of March, they travel to Memphis. So they play Memphis 3 times in 5 days, which is kind of awkward, but hey. But that's 10 games right there. You probably see them win 8 of them. So
yeah,
Brooklyn being their toughest opponent, they play them at home. Their easiest opponent, well, we don't need to get into that, but their toughest road game maybe is at Boston. If I had to guess, maybe Boston gives them the most trouble. We talked about Golden State, not performing super well tonight either. So, we can see them even kind of push their record even further. So we'll see if they continue to be the 1 seed. And I don't think the 1 seed really matters, anymore as much as it maybe used to back in the day. So for what it's worth.
Yeah, another team that's interesting that I think can be another player in the playoffs that has experienced some success but not a whole lot is Portland. They're sitting at 22-15 with MVP candidate Damian Lillard. He's averaging 29.5, 4, and 8 so far this season. Yusuf Nurkic and CJ McCollum have both played 12 and 13 games respectively so far out of 37 this season. So I think Portland is a team with 2 ball handlers, people who can shoot, clutch Dame Lillard. Once they get Yusuf Nurkic back, there's talk of them maybe being in the LaMarcus Aldridge sweepstakes. Carmelo Anthony off the bench, Gary Trent that can shoot. They're a team that kind of similar to the Denver Nuggets last year, where everything kind of jived for them at the right time. If they can get healthy here with the 3-point shooting ability that they have, with the clutchness of Damian Lillard, then you add that size on the block. If you can bring in Yusuf Nurkic as the 5, you bring him back off the pine, and then you bring in like LaMarcus Aldridge as the 4, get a little reunite there in Portland. That's just another team that I was highly interested in. What do you guys think about Portland?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
You mentioned Melo over his last 5 games, kind of picking up the slack for CJ McCollum. He's been averaging 21 points a game, shooting 52% from the field and 43% from three. So year 18, I don't know if Melo can get that done all throughout the rest of the season and into the playoffs, but it's it's just what they need right now with CJ kind of in and out of the lineup, and like you said, Nurkic not really being there a whole lot. I've in off screen, I've kind of not like voiced displeasure about Damian Lillard. I kind of haven't really believed in him, but maybe this is the year that he kind of changes the narrative in my mind. I've been reluctant to call him a superstar, but I think I have to concede that take, and he's the numbers don't really lie anymore, and especially
yes, you do.
I mean, and the All-Star game, they pulling up from that shot he hit at the end to end the game was they did like their next gen real stats on ESPN. It was from 43 feet away, and he just like nothing, just pulled up in transition and knocked it down. So I'll have to concede that take. Unfortunately, he is a superstar.
So if anything, I don't have much to say about Portland, but they're pretty predictable from my, from my point of view. You always know that Dame is going to lead the team in points. He's going to lead the team in assists. Enes Kanter is going to get a mess of rebounds. It's going to be a high scoring game. That you'll get, you can rely on like Carmelo to come off the bench and to score for them. I think they're a dangerous team. I think they're a dangerous team with like momentum. So that's one thing to like consider. And for what it's worth, Melo just passed Hakeem Olajuwon, the great center, in points last night to go 11th all time. So, I mean, Carmelo's probably not like jumping up the board too much further in his career because he is probably ending the end of his career, these next couple of years. But hey, he's quietly had. I mean, he's going down as one of the great scorers. But yeah, kind of hard to become one of the best if you don't win it all. Andrew, okay, so we got a couple of comments in here.
See that comment? Yeah.
Can LeBron make free throws tonight? Ha 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 ha.
He doesn't play tonight. Joke's on you.
I'm starting a hate LeBron club. Who's in?
Get out.
The Mr. Johnny Senior over here. With the LeBron jokes. And
I will not have the slander. I will not have it. It's not in this chat.
The hate LeBron club already belongs to the entire Eastern Conference. So
yeah.
Boom.
Okay, so real quick, Portland's games. They play at Minnesota, and then they play back-to-back games at home versus the Pelicans. Then they play back-to-back games at home versus the Mavs, and then they play the Brooklyn Nets at home. And then to finish off the season, they have a four-game road schedule to finish off the month of March. I keep saying season, but
okay.
So they play Miami, Orlando, Toronto, and Detroit. So their away games are not like maybe the toughest ever, and they do have a couple stretch of back-to-back games here. Where at home we're against the Pelicans, Mavs, and Nets that will be probably a little challenging. But hey, they should improve or stay at their current record with that schedule. I don't see them jumping up to the 3 or 4 seed in that 10 game stretch though, unless we see like a really if the Lakers keep reeling, possibly. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good stretch against some good Western Conference teams. One of those teams is the Dallas Mavericks, which is another team I wanted to hit on really quickly. They were my sleeper team coming into this season. I had really high hopes for them, hoping that Kristaps would be healthy. He plays a huge factor for them, as Andrew kind of mentioned. My sleeper team began the season sleeping, starting 8-13. Since that tough start, they're 12-4. Kristaps has been a major key. Hashtag DJ Khaled, major key. They're 13-9 with him. They're 7-8 without him. So just a team. They're right there. They're at the 8th seed right now with San Antonio looking to sell with LaMarcus Aldridge. I can definitely see them making it up to the 7th seed. I don't know if they can get any higher than that, but they're a team that if you're getting into the playoffs, as they showed the Clippers last year, you don't want any part of them. So, especially with Luka. So, yeah, just a team that I keep an eye on.
I think with the way that the season will probably play out, they'll probably make it to the 7th seed. But yeah, maybe just fall just short of this of catching the Denver Nuggets at 6. I do probably think there's going to be a couple teams flop in these standings, not necessarily fall out of the playoff mix in the West, but yeah, there'll probably be just a little slight reorganization of these rankings. So we haven't really talked about the East. So yeah, the Sixers, who are without.
Ace, I hate to interrupt, but we got to talk about the Lakers, right? I mean, just for a second. I got to talk about, just because I have a stat about my boy LeBron, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, they're the 4 seed right now, only, 1 game out of the 2nd seed. Go figure, even with Anthony Davis missing games. Wonder why. It's because of LeBron. Go crazy. They are 17-6 this year with AD, 8-7 without. Crazy plus minus stat here. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Get ready. Here it goes. 513 minutes with LeBron on the floor and Anthony Davis and Dennis Schroeder off. The Lakers are plus 5.1 points per 100 possessions. Okay, that's with LeBron, no AD, no Schroeder. Okay,
so that's a very good number.
Okay, then check this one out. I got another one for you. Okay, 201 minutes, no LeBron with AD and Schroeder. No LeBron with AD with Dennis.
So the opposite, yeah.
Right, minus 2.5.
So 7.6 point swing right there
because of Mr. LeBron James.
So you might be, you're throwing out some stats here against Papa J, and his anti-LeBron comments. So
I'm not gonna have the slander. It's not gonna be tolerated here at AJA Sports Nation. It's not happening.
like Elizabeth said, boom, roasted.
Thank you.
Roasted. Oh,
I rest my case, Judge Fudge.
Well, yeah, that's good that we talked about the Lakers. They right now looking at them, the 3 seed. I mean, we do know that they're probably not going to make it to the top seed. I think with the subtraction of not having AD all these games puts them out of the race for number 1 there. But yeah. We just, as Laker fans, I think they just want him healthy to start the postseason. And then, second season starts, playoff LeBron mode engaged.
I mean, just look at the top 4 players last year. I know I hate to keep dwelling on it. I know Laker haters don't love this stuff, but I sure as heck do. So we're going to keep it going. The top 4 players for them last year were obviously LeBron and AD. Then number 3 was Kuz, I guess. Number 4, Rondo. This year, we have AD and LeBron.
Playoff Rondo, because regular season Rondo was an empty bag of chips. But
absolutely. They're like Lay's potato chips. They're selling you air.
Playoff Rondo was like the big container of cheese balls that you get from Costco. That's like $5.
Stacked. Okay, and then now our top 4 this year, LeBron, AD, and then you add Dennis and Montrez.
Tell us best player. Sidebar, tell us your favorite chips down in the comments below. Why not?
Spicy nacho Doritos. What about you guys? Come on.
I don't know. Best favorite chip? I don't know.
And don't get critical with like a chip and dip. Just a chip. What is your favorite chip? If I just handed you a chip, I'm not doing like chips and salsa. No. What's your favorite chip? Like a Cheeto or barbecue or something. Maui onion, the Hawaiian one. That's a sleeper.
Oh, okay. I the kettle cooked jalapeno chips.
Oh, okay, good call.
Those are the best. Yeah,
those are good.
Those are so good.
Okay,
so I'll probably go with those.
I'm gonna have to choose a couple because that's just me. Get over it.
That's okay.
I like lime, the lemon Lay's chips, because after you eat like 7 of them, your like mouth is like numb with like salt and citric acid. But it's just whatever. I'm gonna eat the whole bag. And then I really like the jalapeno. The jalapeno Cheetos, like crunchy Cheetos. And then we're going to add Andrew back to the stream here. You're good. You didn't miss much. And then, but I like chips and dip. So I like a Doritos chip into a bowl of Fiesta HEB dip from San Antonio. Well, Texas has HEB stores. They make this Fiesta dip there. And I'm gonna add one more. You're getting Ace's top 4 chips. the salt and pepper kettle chips. So those are just so damn good. Like to me, I love salt and pepper seasoning. I love the seasoning. I'm a cook by trade, so yeah, for me,
A damn good one at that. A damn good cook.
okay. So Elizabeth says I had to pick one. If I had to pick one, I'd say just because they're not the best chip on this list probably, but the limon, the lime lays, and then Elizabeth's coming in here with flaming hot Fritos. Nice, and then yeah, we have a couple more comments. Tell them Elizabeth. Yeah, you got it, Elizabeth. And then can we roast Ace for picking 4?
Yeah, I was
Yeah, you
about to
can't
say,
pick
we're on the
4.
Sunday morning roast. I asked for a chip, and Ace is on a 4 chip soliloquy.
What are we doing?
There are rules. Okay,
Rules here, sir.
there are rules here, sir. Roast. In life, life is full of choices. Make your choices matter. Okay, this is going to be a segue into saying, if you're going to choose a website to get your fantasy information from, get it from Fantasy Pros. We here at AJA Sports use Fantasy Pros. Just a little small shout out to Fantasy Pros because they help stack us with some helpful statistics to throw out your noggins, and so that you guys get more edumacated, and then you guys can roast us if we get something wrong. Okay, so we spent a lot of time talking about standings. We'll kind of just push. I'll just kind of go over. I mean, you guys have read it on the board already, but let's just do this real quick. We're not going to spend too much time on the East, but our 2 playoff bubble teams here are the Pacers and Raptors. I'm looking at this. Looks like really the Bulls only have a real shot of making it there. I think the Cavs and Wizards are just too far behind. There are a lot of teams, if you look at 4 through 11 pretty much, that are just a couple of games apart from each other. So I think it's going to be I think that we're going to see a lot of teams rearrange that in that mix. So it should make for some competitive ball. Who do you like? If you guys got to give one sleeper team 7 through 11, so Knicks, Hawks, Pacers, Raptors, Bulls, who do you think would have the best chance to be successful in the postseason?
Yeah, I'll go first because I have a pretty confident sleeper here. I think the Pacers are a team that I want no part of. 3-8 in their last 11, which is unfortunate. They've had a little bit of a struggle there, but they have a team that have been stricken by injuries between acquiring Karis LeVert and then finding out that he had that rare disease that they had to take care of. Jeremy Lamb, ever since they brought him in, has been on the mend. When they're fully healthy, that starting lineup is Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert, Jeremy Lamb, Domantas Sabonis, and Miles Turner. I think Domantas Sabonis very well may be one of the most underrated players in the NBA right now. He averages 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists. He's great on the defensive end, switches on smalls, is able to guard the rim, as well as he can. But Miles Turner is on that back line, who's a blocking machine. Malcolm Brogdon is a great perimeter defender. When they're all healthy, Brogdon, LeVert, Lamb can all shoot. Domantas Sabonis is one of the best big men on the high post. Malcolm Brogdon is a guy who can drive and play make. Karis LeVert is the same way. We saw that in Brooklyn when he pretty much took over with Kyrie out last year. So Indiana is a team that I really don't want any part of.
Yeah, 100% agree there.
What do you think, Andrew?
100% agree. Indiana's they got a deep roster. They have the steals. They have the NBA steals leader in Mr. TJ McConnell. They have the NBA blocks leader in Miles Turner, and like you mentioned, Domantas Sabonis is a highly underrated player. So I'd probably have to go with the Indiana Pacers. They're 17-20, but a lot of that has to do with circumstantial stuff like injuries and such. Team that was that has skyrocketed in the Eastern Conference that is on this just upward trajectory, and I'm not sure where it'll stop, is the Miami Heat. With Jimmy Butler in the lineup this year, they're 16-8. He missed a lot of the early season, and they're actually 13-4 in their last 17 games, which is just boosted them from the 13th seed all the way up to 4, up above another disappointing team like Boston, who I thought was in a really just hang their hat in the top 4 with the teams we see there right now. The Hornets are a bit of a surprise, and then I know you wanted to talk about the Knicks, Ace. So go ahead and talk about the Knicks. But Miami is a team that is surging right now and is really really hot in the Eastern Conference. And obviously, you have Brooklyn, but I don't like Brooklyn, so I don't want to talk about Brooklyn.
Yeah, I just think I kind of talked about the Knicks the other day on our show, but Tom Thibodeau, solid coach. I think he's bringing the best out of Julius Randle this year. Julius Randle just put up a triple double last night. I love what RJ Barrett's doing. I mean, the kid's balling out. Emmanuel Quickly, who's kind of a dark horse, probably won't win it. Rookie of the Year candidate, has been putting up some solid numbers. I just look at the East and I do see like I see that there's a definite chance that if the New York Knicks play just solid ball in the regular season, that they can put themselves into like a 5 or 6 seed, which is very possible. And maybe like maybe they don't catch the Heat there at 4, but I do see a scenario where they maybe get a chance to not have to face like the 76ers or the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs and then can get it to the second round. I mean, I know that they are starved for some playoff competition. So like, or, some like they've won some titles in the, back in the day, but large in part, like New York's kind of been dry lately. So, yeah, not a team that I would have expected to say in the beginning of the season that can maybe make a push, but I think that it predicates on them like having a strong like regular season push to end the season. So yeah,
just an interesting fact about last night too, because you mentioned Julius Randle with the triple double, and this kind of goes into what Johnny was saying earlier about being a volume league. But Julius Randle, James Harden, Giannis, Russell Westbrook, and Domantas Sabonis all had triple doubles last night, and it was the first time in NBA history that 5 players had a triple double in a single like NBA night. And I mean, triple doubles are used to, when Russ had his triple double season, they were kind of, you didn't think everybody was going to be kind of doing it. And it just seems like you get like, TJ McConnell had a triple double 2 weeks ago where he had 10 steals. Anybody on any given night in the NBA, it seems like, can have a triple double. And that has a lot to do with like Johnny said, volume. So yeah, just want to throw that out there.
And don't get me wrong, like the Knicks do face a little bit of pushback here in the month of March. So they play the Nets, they play the Sixers 2 more times, and they play the Bucks 1 more time, and the Miami Heat before the end of March. So if they can get out of March alive, hold on to a plus record, so don't fall below 500. Hey, we'll see. Okay, so,
and I just wanted to mention real quick, because not a team that's a sleeper or anything, but a team that for some reason everyone is just kind of assuming that Brooklyn is going to come out of the East. There's still Giannis in Milwaukee. I know they're the 3 seed, and I know they were at like 500, teetering towards the middle part of the first half of the season. They may match up the best with Brooklyn. When you look at it, Drew Holiday is a phenomenal defender, and he's going to be on Kyrie. Chris Middleton is a severely underrated defender, and he'll have the opportunity to guard James Harden, which, I mean, obviously James Harden is a tough guard for anybody, but as good of a job as anyone can do. Then Giannis is available to try to go one-on-one with Kevin Durant. So, and then the last guy I'll mention is Brook Lopez. If he's able to pull out DeAndre Jordan from the middle of the paint and allow those guys opportunities to penetrate, it's going to be a long series for whoever they play. I mean, Milwaukee still is top 5 in the league in pace. They're second in the league in points at almost 120 a game. They're top 4 in 3-point shooting percentage at 39%. So just another team that for some reason everyone thinks that the Nets are going to just walk away with the Eastern Conference. And I very well could see the Milwaukee Bucks being the Eastern Conference champions and facing the Lakers in the NBA championship.
I think they do have the most to prove out of that bunch. Miami obviously made it to the finals last year. Like I said a couple of shows ago too, I just don't see the Brooklyn Nets winning it this year. So yeah, to say that, I mean, means that they're going to get knocked off. I could see them getting knocked off by the Bucks. The Bucks had an underwhelming playoffs last year. So, and then the 76ers, not that we don't take them, not that I don't take them seriously, but yeah, I think maybe it's just too soon. Like, and if they do get to the finals, I could see them just getting routed by someone, by the Lakers, like a la like Lakers versus Sixers and Iverson back in the day. So you can step over Tyronn Lue all you want, Iverson. You're still one of the best that ever did it. But hey, Lakers still were NBA champions. So
Let's go.
So we were gonna segue into MVP favorites. We kind of already talked about some of the class of the league. I'll just leave this up here for a sec. The other day we did talk about who our favorites were. Andrew sent me this graphic over, and I just had to be silly and add in Nikola Jokic. Yes, who just continuing to just be boss mode over there. These are the top five. So you got Dame, LeBron, Giannis, Luka, and Joel. I think this year any one of those is deserved to win it. Jay threw out those fire stats about LeBron. If you took out one of these candidates and narrowed it down to 4, who would you guys take out?
So for me, I'd probably take out. Gosh, this is tough. I mean, I guess I hate to say Giannis, but I mean, Dame Lillard is keeping that team afloat in the tougher Western Conference with all those injuries, as we mentioned. LeBron is going to be in my top. Luka, I mean, again, you want to consider injuries. Look at injuries and look at what this dude's doing. I mean, the only reason that they're even where they are in the NBA standings right now is because of him. And the 76ers are the number 1 team in the East. So,
stuff, right?
I mean, I don't want to, I hate to say Giannis. I know that's Andrew's pick to win the MVP right now, and I totally understand why. But if you're going to make me take one guy out of this, I guess I would take Giannis. That hurt.
Okay. We got you on mute here, buddy. Go ahead. Sorry.
Giannis has 27, 11, and 5 in 3 straight seasons. Just saying, 27, 11, and 5. I'm a big LeBron guy. I'd probably take out Dame though.
So let's for me, I'd probably take out Joel. I don't know, just because he's gonna miss 2 weeks of the season. I know that's like kind of not his fault, but I mean, see what his team does with him away. If the 76ers absolutely tank without him, then yeah, maybe you can make a case for him being the MVP. Mola Cola coming in here saying, I don't know, the Broncos are going to win, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay, so Mola Cola, if I'm saying that right. First off, you have to sign Justin Simmons. I don't know if y'all still done that in Denver yet. You need a better quarterback. You haven't even re-signed Von Miller yet, who I think just got dismissed from his lawsuit charges. But Denver, go Denver, right? They won not too long ago, so just gotta let Buffalo win one before Denver wins another one, folks.
If Mola Cola is going to engage with our posts and comment on YouTube on something, then go Denver.
Just kidding. Yeah, go Denver. Absolutely. Okay. Hold on. I'm gonna tell the wifey to order some Denver swag right now on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow. Just kidding, Molacola. Yeah, for sure. We you're on the Sunday roast, so we just wanted to roast you a little bit. It's all fun and games here. Elizabeth coming in with "Let's go Buffalo." That's right. It just rolls off the tongue, folks. If you don't know who to root for, if your team kind of sucks next year, root for the Buffalo Bills. Not that we need bandwagon fans, but we got lots of love in Buffalo for everybody. Okay, well said. So we can transition to some football with that kind of segue into the Broncos by Molacola. So not a easy question to answer, guys, but who is the greatest wide receiver of all time? And what metrics do you use? Do you just look at stats? Do you look at how they performed on the field? Do you look at who your favorite wide receiver just growing up watching? Do you look at who had the best in-game stats and maybe hit the highest high but didn't do it for a very long time? Do you look at the way that the league was when they were at the tops of their position? I don't necessarily have a favorite between these 4 on the screen. So we got Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, T.O., and Calvin Johnson. I don't think there's a mystery person. I think, in our era of the last, 50 years, the Super Bowl era, these are the four names that you want to talk about. I know that there are some pre-Super Bowl era guys that played really well, but the league is obviously going to be judged for it's judged differently now. Like the Super Bowl era changed everything, and I think when we after 100 more years of the NFL, at least these four guys will probably still be in the mix for greatest to do it. With maybe the exception being Calvin Johnson, because he didn't put up statistically Megatron didn't put up like statistically the greatest numbers of all time. A fun fact about him though, he never had a playoff win, and his 11,619 yards career and 83 touchdowns are the most by a wide receiver to never have a playoff win. So I kind of feel bad for the guy because
It's wild.
he never had a chance to play on like a good team, so to speak. So playing on bad teams, you are the number one target. There's that like picture that floats around the interwebs quite a bit of two like shadow coverage guys, like two guys on him from like the the line of scrimmage. Yeah, but I mean he to me, like, since I grew up watching him more than a little bit more than T.O. and Randy Moss. Jerry Rice was before our time, but I loved watching Megatron play. Like, he was drafted high. Like, you knew he was going to be great coming into the league. He played, probably the shortest career out of all these guys, if I'm not mistaken. So it's also like, statistically wise, Jerry Rice is going to lead everything because this monster played for 2 decades, and Jerry Rice is absolutely filthy when you look at his stats. But yeah, just for me, I'm going to just with a little bit of bias, just say Megatron, just because, like, I wish he was on a better team. I wish could have had a chance to win it all, but he did some nice things in Detroit while he was playing. What do you guys think?
I mean, to make the case against Jerry Rice is a tough one. I know Jay's gonna try his hat right now because he's gonna go based off talent. But the only thing I'll say about Jerry Rice, and I'm gonna just say he's the greatest wide receiver of all time, is because he had 14 of those 20 seasons he played. 14 of them were he racked up over 1,000 yards receiving. At age 42, age 40, I'm sorry, he had a 92 reception, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdown season. And he has 400 more receptions, 400 more 4,000 more receiving yards, and 40 more touchdowns than any other player in NFL history. So whatever statistical group you want to group him in, whether you want to say who has the most touchdowns, he's got 40 more than the next closest. Whatever, if you want to go yards, he's got 4,000 more than the next closest. So I know longevity played a factor, but it's kind of hard to say it's not Jerry Rice. But didn't really watch much of him. I saw him in Seattle and Oakland when he didn't do diddly squat. But we'll go with Jerry Rice.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think if you're looking at longevity and stats, it's Jerry Rice. But if you're looking at talent, it's Randy Moss. I mean, Randy Moss came in, he had 17 touchdowns his first year as a rookie. He has 23 touchdowns the first year with Brady. I mean, the dude is just a monster. I remember watching that first game when he came in, watching the highlights when he played Dallas. And I believe it was on Thanksgiving. He had like 3 catches for 168 yards. Every one of them was a touchdown. Every catch he made was like a 60, 70-yard touchdown. The one that where he caught on the sideline, it was a little tunnel screen. And he outran the first guy and then gave a little juke to the second and third guy and was gone up the sideline. Just no one was even remotely keeping pace with him. Again, if you're going to go with stats and stuff all day, it's going to be Jerry Rice. But if you're looking at talent, it's Randy Moss. And Terrell Owens is a little closer than people are going to talk about. I mean, people remember him for like the antics with him putting the freaking football on the star, getting railed by the safety coming down after he scored a touchdown, doing sit-ups in the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was like the first character Yeah, he was like the first character in the NFL that I rooted for. He played the Super Bowl with a broken leg and bald. I mean, you see him like when he's running like yards after the catch in the Super Bowl. He had a little hitch in his giddy up, but he's out there balling. I mean, obviously, like I said, it's Jerry Rice. If you're gonna look at any of the stats, 21 years in the NFL, that's just unheard of from a wide receiver. But for my money, Randy Moss is the most talented. But the question is greatest. I'm gonna go Randy Moss.
Ooh.
Wow.
They're all good picks, fellas. They're all great picks. I mean, these guys are all transcendent receivers, and I mean, you could really just whoever you have, just thank the heavenly stars that they let them land on your football team. Basically.
And we want to know yours, right? Everyone who's listening,
yeah.
If you're listening after
Whoever's
the fact,
watching.
if you're here live, let us know who yours is. We're gonna retweet this on our AJA Sports the Twitter page. Go ahead on there, comment on that, interact with that. Let us know who it is. We're monitoring all of our socials constantly. So anything you guys put up, we're seeing. We want to engage with. We want to interact with you guys. So let us know who you think. Tell us when we're right. Tell us when we're wrong. We want to hear it. So
absolutely, yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, I think the fact that if you look at these four, since Calvin Johnson didn't play with like a stacked lineup, he probably contributed for like a third of Matt Stafford's like passes and touchdowns all time, I'm sure. But yeah, like you got to look at this with like your own lens. For me, like I look at the Calvin Johnson Megatron as an underdog here, so that's kind of why I would gravitate towards him, just rooting for the underdog here. T.O., his time in Buffalo kind of maybe like second guess him just a little bit because him coming to my team and then thinking he was gonna like light the world on fire. He wasn't terrible, but Randy Moss being a Patriot for that couple of seasons, and I have a strong New England Patriots bias. So
23 touchdowns in one
Randy
season
Moss.
though. 23 receiving touchdowns.
And Jerry Rice,
one-handed over Darrelle Revis, man.
Jerry Rice had Joe Montana. So, I mean, there you go. I mean, he would have still been redonkulous without Joe Montana, but yeah, not a bad thing when you're playing, with Dwight Clark and Joe Montana in their primes. So,
I mean, Jerry Rice, the poor guy, had to go from Joe Montana, then they gave him Steve Young. Are you serious? You're not going to give him slack for that one? I mean, what the heck? I mean,
he got this lefty now thrown to him. What's that all about?
So dropping dimes
but yeah. So yeah, that just about wraps up the sports talk. We did start off the show by sharing our coffee mugs, and we all had some Disney mugs going, just to give you a little insight on our personal lives. We obviously all like Disney for what it's worth. However, these two gentlemen on screen with me are going to Walt Disney World in 1 week from now. So wish you guys a safe trip. Hopefully nobody gets in your grill or people are wearing their masks. Disney's actually really good about all that safety enforcements and protocols, like reduced park numbers. And what are your guys' favorite things to do this trip though? What are you guys excited for?
I want to eat. I just want to eat everything. But I want to go on. I want to go on test track at Epcot. We didn't get to go on it last time 2 years ago, and I really, really want to go on test track.
Yeah, I wonder. I haven't really looked into it, but you used to be able to like go to a screen and customize your car and then drive with your car. Maybe with like COVID protocols, they're not doing that part, or they're just like wiping down the the screens and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. The food and garden, the flower. I always say the wrong name on this thing, dude. It's flower and garden, but all I think about is the food. So the first thing I say is food. Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot. If I don't get on Rise of the Resistance, it's a wash. I'd be so upset. Disney World, Disneyland, Disney. If you're listening, pay attention here, okay? If I have a resort reservation, I should get priority access for a boarding group to get on Rise of the Resistance. Okay. All right. If I'm getting a resort reservation, I shouldn't have to worry about, getting on my phone at 7 and worried about the Wi-Fi and my connection and what number. I should get a boarding group. I'm coming from California. Put me in a priority line. Get me a boarding group. We're going to try to go to Oga's twice because I'm worried there's no reservations for anything because it's so busy. Hopefully the spring break lines aren't crazy, but if I don't get on Rise of the Resistance, if I don't go into Oga's Cantina, then we have some problems. We're gonna have some big problems when I get back.
Hey, you just take it easy. I'm sure you'll have fun regardless. The thing is with vacations, don't put them on a pedestal, man. You're just gonna go away from the trip being like, but I didn't do that one thing. So have backup plans, just like in everything you do. Have a backup plan. If Oga's Cantina is a wash, then just go get drunk at Epcot. Go drink around the world, Jay. Not a bad alternative otherwise. So it's been a pleasure to hang out with you guys for this last hour. We really do appreciate y'all tuning in. Obviously, you can tell we love to talk. We could have probably went on for like another 6 hours, which is scary. Without much, without much else to, to say other than we hope you guys have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Enjoy Selection Sunday. Watch some basketball games if you can. Elizabeth, real quick, just saying there's no backup plan to Rise of the Resistance. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Elizabeth gets it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, well, there's another little roast from Elizabeth there. But have a fun, chill, relax, gluttonous, beautiful, relaxing Sunday. We will catch you guys next time on the AJA show. This has been your drink some more coffee. Yes, I will get some more after this. Mm-hmm. This has been the first episode of the Sunday Roast, and we will catch you guys on episode 2. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.